I'm an older guy. I'm 68. I'm dating women in their 30s. That's so wrong. I'm not even hitting on them. And they're attractive. What do I do? Throw them away? I stopped listening to all that junk because I don't listen to too much media and I don't listen to young guys' opinions because they don't seem to treat young women right. And they got this attitude and ego. My ego died a long time ago. I like to make a woman happy. And if I'm dating a young woman and she comes up to me and she's touching me because she likes me, because she starts seeing that I got qualities that's like hers that are more open minded. I'm very open minded. I'm a very spiritual man, and I don't get listening to these guys anymore. Go in the bar, you get away from him. You're too young. Too young. She's legal age. She wants to date me or talk to me. She's welcome. And she comes up and she says, I really like you, Greg. She's beautiful. What am I going to do? I'm divorced. I'm dating younger women. Get stuffed. I don't listen to too much, and I'm not hating anybody, but I don't go along with the conformity of media and the psychobabblers. I studied psychology myself, and I believe in freedom of the mind. I'm not Jerry Lee Lewis dating his 14-year-old cousin. I'm dating women that are mature enough to know what they want. And if they hit on me, what are they going to do? Hit a brick over my head because of some ideology? No. They come up and they're touching me and want to talk to me, and they say, I really like you, and I want to date you, and they're attractive. What am I going to do? Throw them out? And tell me I'm a rich man? Listen, I'm a musician, and women like that. And did I do it because this is who I am? I'm just a man that blends in with younger women because I'm starting to really appreciate their sensitivity, their qualities, and I stand with them. I don't stand with a lot of guys that are listening to the rubbish on social media and stuff. This guy's attacking me one day. He was coming over, and I said, I'm dating younger women. Listen, buddy, you can't deal with it. Get out of the garden. I've been dating women in about 34. 34, I'm 68. So wrong. I used to think it was. I used to listen to people. I got a preferred hearing because they have preferred hearing. They don't want to hear me. Listen, you don't treat women right. You don't know how to be congenial and give them space to be who they are. I got a right to date them and treat them with respect and making sure they have a good, enjoyable time with me. They can talk to me. They can communicate. And if we have sex, I'll make it they're thinking of their needs. Sick old bastard. It's a judgment call. I feel young. I look at myself in the mirror and I date young women. I look at this an old man. I don't feel you. So I'm walking along and I'm talking to a woman that's 98 years old. She's married to a much older man. And she said, while he lived, I was so happy because he was 30 years younger than me in the mind. And I get some young woman saying I'm an old soul. Come to her. I'm a young soul. I know you're an old soul. I'm a spiritualist, and I believe you are an old soul. I'm listening to all the judgments of spiritual women. Okay? They say, oh, they've had a heart, and they bought into some sort of ideology. You know what an ideology is? No open mind of change. Like going around and saying non-duality is a scam is a man that's in duality. Stuck. So And I heard that young man, and I like him. He's admitting that this is a media mind hack. I talk to young women, know what they say? Do you feel the control? It's the ideologies of coming in from media that sells us junk. It's junk. And I had to change my mindset. I've changed my mindset a lot of things. If I'm with a young woman, even though if it doesn't last, as long as she's learning something from me and she's happy, is all that's matter. And I'm not raping her. I'm letting her have her freedom. You know, what are you doing with her? She's beautiful. And he's a bit chubby. He makes her feel comfortable. You know, sometimes women look for something more than the form. Sometimes women look for something that they've had enough of the plastic kid that's carrying this massive ego to make sure that he gets a girl. But you'll break her heart, and they do, because they're not living an authentic life. So I am attracted to younger women. You know why? I find older women attractive, but they won't date me because they just want to have fun. And they don't want to really get involved with older men my age. Listen, I've tried. I've tried to date women my age. Oh, it's always the game. What are you doing? Go for a coffee? No. I gotta work, dear. Oh, it's always the dear. You don't even go out for coffee. You're halfway across. You're just down the street. I met you on a dating app. You're in town, but you won't date me. I've had this a couple of times with women my age. I gotta work because my husband sucked me dry. Good. So I look at her place. She's got into graphic arts. She's got about 5 computers, all on once. Go for a coffee? No. Gotta work. I don't want to go down again. Then such is life, man. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So I go to the bar, and she's a pretty little thing, and she's putting her body up against me and saying, "Hey, what am I gonna do? Turn her away?" You know, God sends gold, and I throw it out on the ground. And then I live with no judgments, and she likes me. She wants to be with me. And I'm not rich, but I'm a man that has a lot of knowledge. So if she goes with me and she enjoys my company and she's learning things and she's really happy, I don't give a damn about society as long as she's of legal age and maturity. Some women aren't mature even at 50. Some women at 25 are very mature. I have very ecological values, and a lot of young women do too. Okay? I have very spiritual values. And I eat peanut butter on a spoon. I'm weird, but that's attractive. Sees me sitting at a bar, and I said, "Can I have a shot of whiskey and my coffee?" Oh, it's different. I'm just me. I'm just me. I don't give a hoot, dude, about much. Just like Michelle Payne said, get stuffed. And that's what I say too. You judge me, be the judge and be the duelist. You like me? Fine. I like you too. I like most people. I don't care if you judge me, but I'm not going to listen to you. I got preferred hearing too. A lot of these young guys I didn't hear that. You're dating younger women. I didn't hear that. Yeah, I'm dating women your age. And I don't care. I really don't care. I walked in the bar one night and she came in. Beautiful young woman, about 34. And I noticed she putting her hand on my back and really feeling comfortable with me. I really like you. I'm glad I came in here. I didn't know why. And we got talking about spiritual things and it started taking off. She's 34 and I'm 65 at the time. And she's putting her hand on my back and brushing, and I knew she liked me, playing with her hair. I can't ignore a beautiful young woman that seems to be interested in me. I go in the bar there and I'm with a buddy there and he's my age, he's divorced. You stay away from him. Back off, buddy. If she's interested in dating me, I'll go with her. I'll talk to her. And I do talk to young women. And I listen to them. And I'm compassionate. You know what I see with young women? They go to a massage therapist. Oh, he's cute. They go because they need to feel something. And I feel things. I don't shut down my heart for people. And I don't go around saying I'm better than everybody else, but I'm a feeling man and a kind man. And I have self-compassion. And if a young woman wants to date me, God blessed me. And I will continue to date a younger woman. Because I can't date older women. I got these ideologies of not living with men. So we live together, shack up, man. Get married. But there's always the judgment clause. I don't care anymore. People judge me for being an environmentalist. I could get mad. I don't care. I stand up and I feel right about what I do, my core values, my intrinsic value that the world is screwed up right now, destroying the planet and saying we got to have fossil fuels. I don't listen to that. I've always been an environmentalist and I always will remain an environmentalist. Now, I had things that didn't serve me. I don't believe in God because they were attacking women's rights. So I left the church. But God sent me back when I was scuba diving. Because I heard a voice of God saying, if I don't exist, what is this? Everything always is, you got a foundation or a core value. Live with it, but don't listen to the media. The media is a conformed, money-making racket of ideologies. Certain therapists are not my cup of tea because they are using shame. This is like a religion, an ideology, and they put their own friggin' values on things. That's wrong. That's right. So I don't go to them. I say you're one trick pony. That's an insult. Take it as it is. Because you don't do any trauma therapy, you just know this rubbish. You got a license, eh? Jordan Peterson's got a friggin' license too. I keep on wondering about these licensed therapists in the socialized healthcare system that are just gone to university. Listen to a guy that's a lobster king. They're licensed. He's got a license to steal. He's got a license to ideology. Any man that dates a younger woman is sick, mentally ill. Any young woman that's interested in an older man is sick. Look at him. Look at her. 24. She married a 72-year-old. And she's very happy and they had a baby together. And this is going to offend young guys, but I saw the girls saying, I think he's pretty cute. And he's treating you nice. And they met in a bar in Alberta. And people took a while to get used to it, other guys. But they seem like a nice couple. To go meet the parents. Oh God, you're older than my parents. Get to know each other. You know, we've always had these shifts. Sidney Poitier had a film. It was called Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? A black man going with a white woman. It was taboo. That film broke through the interracial marriages. It did. And, you know, it was Catherine Hepburn. Guess Who's Coming to Dinner? Sidney Poitier played a very good part in that movie. But that was a shift. And I see it all the time. He's from Trinidad, Tobago, and he's dating a young white woman. Is he a bad man? He's a good man. He treats her good. So I don't have any problem with that. I see a white man dating a black girl, and they're happy. What's wrong with that? You know, we can't get into boxes. So an age gap marriage is a psychological profile on this. But I don't think there's much truth to it because I think it's always subjective to normal. And that's what I have a problem with the psychological field. Yeah, I got a friend that's a psychologist, it's a humanitarian psychologist. We're getting away from the generalization of psychology, and it's not good. And he's right. And he's in the United States. He's an older man married to a younger woman. So what? He's older than me. He's 72. But he's a good-looking guy. You know, if we get envious, and a guy's dating a younger woman, sir, how are you doing that? And then the older man says, you know what a young woman likes? I want to learn, sir, because I want to date a young woman. And we're getting somewhere. Because I'm getting into a problem with young men. Their egos are so big, they don't want to learn anything. And then other young men are sensitive. Sir, I want to listen. Good, because I was young too. And I had all that simpa of ego too. It didn't serve me. I got rid of that shell. Just be you. So a couple comes up, they're gay. We're getting married. They're two young men. Be yourself. Make no judgment call. I'm a straight man, but I make no judgment call on gay people or transgender or lesbians. I don't make judgment calls because I have no right to judge others. The society's changing, our culture's changing. These are paradigm shifts. It's nothing like a cool change. And it makes a better world when we adapt because we got a lot of things that need to change to evolve to a better world. The world will never get better making judgment calls. So this young man's on here and he's saying that non-duality is a scam. That's a judgment call. So that throws you into duality. It's always that way. I learned that by an angel feather meeting a spiritual man, judging other people. I thought, what is this? The judge is the ego. And it was always playing out. It played out a metaphor and an interesting lesson. As I look for the lessons from spiritual teachers, he's a Hare Krishna. And he says, look at those girls, they're playing piano. Ego. But who is the ego? Who's the ego? When you're judging people, they're just playing piano, it looks like. They play well, and they're enjoying themselves. So making judgment calls of happy people might be a problem because you're trying to obtain happiness. And you see they have it, and you're the spiritual teacher wearing the hat trick. You're wearing the tassel on the back of the head, and you're home, it's fine. But have you obtained anything? No. And then the next call, can lose. They found all those children murdered by a Roman Catholic diocese. So I said, is it the Roman Catholic diocese or is it the ideology? Well, apparently they just narrowed down the Roman Catholic Church and burnt down at that time. They looked at that. We'll burn down that church in Nova Scotia. But I saw a lot of religions doing that at that time. Segregation and taking Indigenous children away from other cultures. So let's just not go calling Catholic, Protestant, or anything like that. Let's just blanket it to ideology. That's what that is. It's nothing to do with God or anything. Ideology is a dangerous pill, and it doesn't give us freedom to be. But freedom is fine if you're not blind. Blind freedom is not right. It's not egalitarian, and they're always attacking the egalitarian movement of equality and people having money and being successful in life. And I've looked at the spirit level, and I can't see anything wrong with it. It's like my body; it has to be balanced. I can't stand up if I'm not balanced. I'll fall over. Well, my chakratic zones are balanced. So when we gain the 7 major chakras and balance them out daily and do self-work, we start to get a masculine, feminine energy of balance. We all have these energies. The root chakra, and like that, they all have to be balanced. Women live way up here, some of them. But other women are getting more rooted and grounded to stand up for things. And they're getting ostracized and blamed. I was thinking about those girls that are doing illegal acts in England. Why are they doing it? Maybe they don't have to do it. If a young man says, I agree with him, and speaks out and says, this is wrong, they might not have to throw paint on beautiful paintings. It's just pushed things too far. They don't know what to do. A man's responsibility is saying, I agree with them, and I stand in unity with them. But we don't want to do harm to people. You know where I saw that? Gen Zs in the United States. They didn't like Donald Trump's attacks on racism and stuff. And they looked at, she said that we're going along and people, they said, you're going to destroy this monument. No, sir, we honor the military. We're not doing harm. But we're out protesting to end the racial discrepancies. And she was grounded and just and kind. She would not destroy a monument as a Gen Z. And that was respect. Respect, it was love. To honor the military and not destroy monuments and get crazy. So I was looking at that problem with those girls and they're breaking the law. They're protesting, they're throwing paint on paintings and stuff, but they're frantic. The British government is funding oil and gas research and stuff, and they're worrying about a future. I'm with them, but I don't like breaking the law. So it's unity of young men saying, I agree with them. That's your power, guys. If you stand up for women, young women, you'll win them. You'll have a tribe of good ladies. You stand with them and back them up. Women need you. Uncle Sam needs you. Women need young men to stand up and be good character and say, I agree with them, sir. They wouldn't have to do that if men would stand up with these ladies. The world will get better. And 224 is the year we make changes. We examine if this serves us to have this ego or ego. What is the ego? Judgment, duality. I had to question my life. Do I back down on climate deniers? No. But do I have to be nasty? I just stand my ground. No, I don't agree with you. And I'm not frightened of you. And I'm not going to apologize for anything I've said here. You have to remove the carbon subsidies and you have to start change. If I stand down on things that are core value, I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm letting the world manipulate me. I believe I have a foundation of asking myself, is this right? I just keep on getting that. This is right. Re-examining everything, introspection. I'm not wrong. I stand for environmental change, getting off fossil fuels, going into renewables for a better world for the younger generation. The young people are getting manipulated again. Peer pull-ups saying, get rid of it. It's a one-way. It's, life is options, okay? Do you have to choose between capitalism of having sustainable wealth and housing and not have environment? Well, that's what he's giving you. He's giving you that chain, that story. Of course you want housing, but he's not going to give it to you because he's lying to you, using a tool to. And then you say, I'm making a judgment. No, I discern. Jesus said to Judah, this man is no good. And that's spiritual discernment. You don't have to be religious to discern. You just have to be able to discern that this is not resonating with anything. Of course you're frantic. It's like anger. Anger makes us do bad things. And that's what those girls are doing. They're trying to push through and break the law to make change. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. And it should be people standing with them. And they're just making a lot of noise to get you on their side. So join them in solidarity and quit demonizing Greta Thunberg and laughing. This is a great thing, put the little laugh symbols up. And putting people in clown outfits and stuff. Our technology is used evilly to manipulate and join the bad pudding. I joined a group and I started being cynical. I realized the woman, and I got off that. And they humiliated that woman. and her husband, just because he's Muslim. She's a politician. They demonized her. They scandaled her. Prime Minister Harper. She was in the cabinet, and I got talking to her. I like her values. She's a conservative, is standing up for animal justice. I'm going to listen to her. Not be partisan. All of a sudden, he started saying she's snorting coke off the breasts of prostitutes of her husband, which is a scandal. It was not true. And when you scandal somebody, you take them to court and sue them. He sued Stephen Harper for $9 million and won. So she's in the Liberal Party now. What can she do? She was a good cabinet minister supporting the progressive conservatives. But they started getting dirty and attacked politics. And that's what Peter Paul up is. Look at it, people. And it's nice that young lady comes in and says, I hope you're well. I'm very well, dear. But I was looking at your videos. You sort of idolize these big cars. I had them, and I hate them. I want electric. Because that's the ego, and these guys are influencing me. They're cool guys. Big, fast cars. The whole system's controlling you. On the spiritual path of life, or the just path of being happy, which is what should be our guide, we have a basic core value to write down what our core value is. Now, sometimes we have to shift them. And if psychology says you're shifting values, you're manic, walk away from them. You're an introspection, you're an evolving person. Does that serve me? That's my problem with Western psychology. Too much analytical rubbish. And I started reading Jung, the Red Book, and it's a lot different than what they're talking about. It was a book that was put away, and nobody was listening to it. It was in storage. Now, was it a conspiracy? No. It was just the way it happened. But I started reading the Red Book, and I understand it now. But to have insight of something very complex like Jungian psychology is introspection and understanding, intelligence of a form. But I noticed there's something that's missing with intelligence. Emotional intelligence and spiritual. To corner down the foundation of who we are. We are spiritual beings in a physical form. And I say things to people and they don't get it. They're always worried about dying. We die? I say God, goddess. We are, God is. He's a transgender? No? He's the unity of all that. Angels are too. The God, goddess, the angelic realm is transgender. The Lucifer, the fallen angel, was just male. That's sad, isn't it? He didn't have his twin flame. So do we hate Lucifer? No. We just see this lie that was going on for centuries on the repression of women's rights and equality. But sometimes they push things too far, just like they are. And it goes against them and it backfires. Unfortunately, what I look for the solution. Their message is right. We got to get off fossil fuels. The government's not listening, and then, but that takes unity of young men saying, "Sir, Prime Minister, they're right. I stand with these ladies." Then they won't have to break the law or paint on pictures, and everybody joins in. And they don't listen to all the damn media. Media is paid to conform people. So there is a control. But, we are powerful people. We don't have to listen to the control. Be aware of introspection that is a controlled collective, probably because they make money at it. And walk away from it. But take a side on something. Don't be apathetic. I had to take a side, and I took a side that I'm with Israel. And I will not listen to any more of that anti-Semitism. Hamas is a terrorist group. It's easy to discern, isn't it? Is it to do with Palestine? See, they're spinning tails. Jordan Peterson tends to do this too. He spins stories and converts them. He's an alchemist of fiction. Alchemist to change to an ideology, to sway you to one direction. And that's what he does, Dr. Jordan Peterson. And he's paid by these companies. And that's what that is. So he attacks women. You notice that? He attacks. I was listening to Kimbo. It was great. He says women need to run the world. I agree, bro. I do. Power to the women. Because they got enough heart and enough soul and nurture for this earth. Nurture for a future for their children. That's what this life is about. And anybody that tells you that life isn't happiness, say goodbye. Because life is happiness. And that's Jordan Peterson. So it's easy to walk away from a man that has ideology. And I didn't know why I felt so angry at him. The problem is being angry was giving him power. I'm not angry anymore, Dr. Peterson. I know who you are, and I know your ideology, and I don't listen to it. I am a pro-zero carbon man. I support women's rights, and that's as clear as it is. I am a man. There's a guy across the hall. He's a nice guy, but we don't agree. He likes trucks and lots of fuel, and he's going conservative. I don't agree, and I don't have to hate him. He smiles at me, and I try to be nice to him. I do stand my ground. I am against fossil fuels, proliferating them and not making change. So I'm leaving Canada, but when I'm gone, I'm going to keep Canada. I'm going to keep a dual. So I think you'll change. I think you will. I'm not going to be pragmatic. I think Canada will have enough of these controllers, and this all fall apart. Change it. And I'll pray, some love and kindness and acceptance that this dies. I don't think I'm not even going to get into the ins and outs of the economy. The economy's damaged now. I don't think they can improve it. They're just keeping you tethered to a system. Think about it.